Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Brews and Blockchain.
Brews and Blockchain.
Brews and Blockchain. All right, and you probably know us as the Crypto Masters, duh.
Yeah.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Ross.
And on the Brews and Blockchain, we just have some brews and we talk about anything particularly that we think is important or pertinent in the blockchain space.
Yeah, the hot topics, Brian.
Topics.
We scour and live on crypto Twitter, so you don't have to.
That's right.
That's pretty much accurate.
What is the most important part of this show, Ross? What comes first?
Blockchain and brews and blockchain.
The beer. So we have another local brew. What do you call those? I guess from a brew house.
Microbrew.
I like it. Microbrew. Let's go with that. So this one today is called Pernicious IPA from Wicked Weed Brewery in Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville.
Get ready, man. Oh, and show them your stein.
Yeah. So we're kind of getting into the holiday vibe here, especially in the U.S. So we are, rocking some. I've got an Anheuser kind of festive horse mug type thing,
Look at the 3D.
Stein.
Tell them about the 3D aspect, Ross. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah. So I've got some, I guess, what do you call this? Foliage? Some garlands around the handle.
Let's go ahead and knock this thing
Oh,
out.
yeah. Kick it off.
Boom.
Kick it. And what's yours, Brian? What
Mine is very similar. It's the Budweiser Clydesdales 3D.
It is 3D. Yeah.
It's very 3D. You look at the horses' heads; they're kind of sticking way out. And mine has kind of a different, a little bit of a brick thing here on the handle. It's pretty cool. It's really cool. These were a series of collections, and we only have these two,
but we're gonna collect them all.
That's right. All right, so let's move on to the blockchain part of this. And
another central part.
Today is December 5th, 2021, and today. There's a fairly big event happening. It's the launch of the testnet of the first DEX, I believe, on the Cardano blockchain called SundaeSwap.
Yes, and I will just quickly say this is not financial advice, and I might say sushi swap at any point in this, and Brian will slap me across the face.
Not on the face, but I will say, you keep saying sushi swap.
It's something broken in my brain, Brian, where I just cannot stop saying sushi swap instead of Sunday swap, and it's driving me insane. It's literally a broken part of my brain.
Ross, they really are.
The alliteration is crushing me.
It's freaking confusing. Change that name, you guys.
Sunday. It's Sunday. We're talking Sunday swap. Sunday. Yes.
But in this case, it's Sunday, SUNDAE.
Like the dessert. Yes. Yeah. With a cherry on top. But yeah, the testnet's live today. But I'm very excited about this.
You got involved in it.
I'm involved. I'm staking my ADA in one of the designated pools to be a part of the SundaeSwap protocol. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited. Apparently, if you stake in one of these pools, and I don't want to turn this into a tutorial, so I'll link a good tutorial I followed on YouTube. I can't remember the channel's name, but
it'll be down below.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward as long as you can get a Yoroi wallet. Yeah. I always have trouble saying that one.
Yeah,
but if you can get some ADA on there, stake it on the designated pools, then you're basically good to go to kind of earn ADA and SundaeSwap tokens at the same time.
So are those going to be by airdrop to? Do you know, is it going to be an airdrop, or how do you get your Sunday tokens from participating in this?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of at launch time you get some. And then I really plan, once this thing really, mainnet launches, I will be acquiring some SundaeSwap tokens. So
I think I will
excited.
be too. I haven't gone to what you did, which is you probably, are getting it on the ground floor. It's probably a great idea.
Yeah, everyone on YouTube's calling for this 100x. I don't know if it'll be that huge, but there's a possibility.
Yeah, you never know. And it does look like there are several very promising DEXs coming out on Cardano pretty soon. But this thing seems to be the leader. I mean, it's coming out first, so that's always an advantage.
Yep, it's definitely the front runner right now.
Yeah.
So this is early pre-mainnet stages. So, hey, it could be huge. Comment down below. Let us know what you think about that.
Let me ask you this. As a staker, are you allowed to participate on the testnet? Or is anybody?
Actually, that's a good question.
You don't know? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question. Very good question.
All right, well, we'll see. The
SundaeSwap it's I had to say a very big part of Cardano and really what could drive up prices for Cardano.
Right.
And you've got Hoskinson backing this thing, which is, if you don't know, the creator of the Cardano.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know, it's basically the beginning. So remember, there's a lot of hype when Cardano had its hard fork and would allow smart contracts a couple of months ago. And, you know, not that much happened with the price at all, except, I mean, it peaked out, I think, even before that, and it's gone down. But, you know, this is kind of the thing that a lot of people are saying, you know, once this starts, once these DEXs launch and these other things follow, you know, the demand for ADA is going to go through the roof. And there really is a ton of ADA that's staked. I mean, the staking rewards is so good and so easy. I mean, it's good. It's 5 to 6%. So it's not like one of these crazy ones, but you know, compared to anything you can get in the real world today, you know, that's good. And it's so easy to do that I think more than 70% of ADA is staked. I mean, that's pretty, that's an outstanding percentage.
A crazy number. Yeah.
Right. So you get that, and then you get the demand going for, you know, what little bit is left. You get the demand going from DEXs and other projects. A lot of people are hopeful that will cause a spike in the ADA price. And in full disclosure, we've said it before, we both own ADA. So.
Yeah, we're I don't say we're, you know, no stretch we're Cardano or ADA maxis at all, but we're definitely big fans of Cardano. You know, I don't even want to mention that.
No, I'm not a maxi.
Yeah, we're no maxis for sure. But I think, you know, when the mainnet of Cardano launched, you know, it kind of silenced some haters, but then there's also this silent voice of like, whoa, it's launched and why did it just dip? Yeah. Well, I think that for me, it seems like, you know, kind of buy the hype, sell the news, but now we start to get into the actual application of Cardano launching. And, you know, of course, tons of developers are saying, you know, the efficiency of the Cardano is unprecedented. You know, it's a epic step.
So we're not, and again, not financial advice. We're not saying the price is going to go through the roof. It could be an impetus for a big price spike, but we're not certainly saying that it's going to.
Yeah, especially with what we'll get into in our next step, the big dip.
Right.
You know, something running up now is a little questionable, a little up in the air.
So we are, as we say, we date these on Brews and Blockchain, and today is December 5th, 2021. So if you're in the crypto world, you know that yesterday, the 4th, was kind of a Black Saturday, maybe as they say. I mean, not really. You know, there was a Black Friday on the stock market like in the 80s. But this is nothing like that. This was a dip for sure. I mean, Bitcoin.
In crypto terms, yeah.
Right. I mean, Bitcoin was down, I think, around 20%. At some point from its highest to its lowest. I know it had sort of a spike way down, which then came, you know, back up. But anyway, it was a big dip. And then, you know, like some of us think, you know, when is everything going to decouple from Bitcoin? Well, as of yesterday, it hasn't happened.
That is, it is
unfortunately, because not exactly lockstep, but I mean everything was down. If you weren't a stable coin or a very rare, you know, one or two, it went down as much or usually more. The altcoins went down basically a little bit more than Bitcoin, but there was clearly a coupling element to that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, you know, this is kind of the nature of just being in crypto. I had a couple of friends that have gotten into crypto because they've seen me podcasting, you know, but they're like, oh man, is it crashing? And it's like, well, this is a dip. This is not a crash, it's the dip. Maybe, you know, stock market terms, you know.
Oh yeah.
This would be a freak out.
But you can't you just don't even use the stock market.
It's not comparable.
Because, right. I mean, this is literally very common. This dip, if it's now stopped, it certainly has paused. You know, it's not like shot back up to where it was, but it's paused. So we don't know what's going to happen. But you know, if this is all it was, then this is just a dip.
Yeah, and I actually put this figure on behind us, Brian. I don't know if you can see it on my screen here, but
isn't that
this tweet from Plan B?
Yeah, Plan B.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, Bitcoin has dipped. I mean, he's showing 38 to like 30%, you know, over since 2016. I mean so many times. So
are you going to put that chart back here?
Oh yeah. I'll put
okay. So the chart that you're seeing, that's the run up of 2017. So, you know, that's like this is when the thing is going through this astronomical run up.
Yeah.
It still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 dips of
Around
30%.
Yeah, 30+%. I mean,
Right. So the point of that is, and it's a good point, is nothing to worry about if that's all it is. I mean, we don't know yet that we're at the end of it, but if it goes back up to somewhere near where it was before, then it was just another dip.
yeah.
All right. But is it going to do that? I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah, we can't, no one can confidently say, oh, it's dipped before and it's going right back up. But it puts it in perspective that it could.
Let's talk about that in a minute, sort of, the predictions of it or the lack of predictions of it. But let's talk about possible causes.
Okay.
Because I think it's fair to say, and I won't say no one because there's millions of people out there, but almost no one saw this coming.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's fair to say. And the biggest influencers that we watch on YouTube and follow on Twitter, crypto Twitter, have basically said that.
Oh,
I think
no one.
Almost universal. I saw one where, hey, this guy, who not many people follow, no one's really heard of. Yeah, he said, to be cautious, but most of them have just said, hey, I never saw this coming.
And to be fair, that one guy, it's a luck of the draw.
Right.
Like
exactly.
one guy of the sea of millions,
There's always somebody.
I called it.
There's always somebody saying something like that. So
yeah,
they're gonna hit it every
yeah.
once in a while. Like a clock, hits 12 o'clock twice a day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
I did join, BitBoy launched a video that morning of the whole thing. And
BitBoy in his garage?
In his garage. And I kind of joined him in his deflation, just like, wow, we were just,
Yeah,
Just-
he was bummed.
Yeah, I mean, I was bummed too, I wasn't,
Me too.
And I'll say this real quick. You shouldn't be upset unless you're planning to sell today or, I guess yesterday. If your plan was still Q1 or middle of next year, why are you upset right now? It's just a bump in the road that's going on.
Your plan was I'm going to take tons of profits before the end of the year. That may have to be adjusted.
Well, that for sure, yeah. It's going to – this momentum decrease is going to take a while to – if there's still this super cycle, it's going to take a while to pick up speed again. Yeah.
So I've since almost no one saw it coming, you can't really point to a cause or certainly a cause like we had the back in earlier this year, we had the Elon tweet. That was pretty clear. You could identify the timing of that tweet versus what the market.
You could put it on a chart and
it's
just
pretty obvious.
Down.
Right. So this time there wasn't anything. So I don't know that you can really point to anything. What a lot of people are saying in hindsight there's too much leverage. Now, to me, that should have been something that's on chain. That should have been something that people who follow that could have identified. But I don't think it was anything, abnormally high.
Mm-hmm.
But there was high leverage and it got liquidated, and they always say that's a cause, and I guess it is.
Well, I did see some reports of like this support, if you will, at like 53,000. So if we dip below that, there's going to be a lot of liquidation, and it did, but it kind of.
Yeah,
that happened, but it didn't. It wasn't like overnight. Bam! Oh, everything's gone.
It wasn't as stated, but I mean that did happen. So, other than that, there's too much leverage, which basically you always hear. The other thing is, Evergrande, the big Chinese real estate company that's been in the news for a couple months now, because it's threatening to default on its loans. They came out on Friday after the markets closed and said, basically, yeah, we are going to default and on at least some of them. And, unlike last time, the Chinese government hasn't stepped in and said, no, you're not kind of thing. But so a lot of people are worried about that. And I think, so we're doing this on Sunday, like you said. So tomorrow the stock markets will open and we'll see what effect that'll have on the stock markets, which it probably will. And then, and then like we've seen before, will the crypto markets follow the equity markets? And probably, they have. There still seems to be we're talking about decoupling among the crypto assets, but we also need, I think, and want a decoupling between the crypto assets and the stonks.
Yeah.
But we don't have that yet. So I don't know, Evergrande. That timing didn't work out exactly. I think it started to dip before that news came out. So I don't know if that was the cause or not. Nobody really seems to know what caused this.
Yeah, and I think the main thing I saw, or a lot of people were calling for, oh, it must be the new COVID variant, Omicron. But again, that happened, and it wasn't just
No, there was
overnight.
more than a week delay. So,
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So, but I kind of piggybacking off you, Brian. It's this is the crypto market, stock markets. It's this huge living organism. It takes a lot to move it, and there's a lot of different factors going on. So you could name
Right.
a collection of things that really were bad news that seemed to kind of all come together.
So we've been talking on the last few Brews and blockchains about this possible cycle, and are we going to follow the cycles of the past? The 4-year cycles when they hit this point in time, and as we said on the past shows, a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, by the end of 2021, we're going to have this big run up," and most of them are saying between 150 and 300,000 Bitcoin. That's now seeming to be out the window.
Yeah, prove us wrong in that prediction, but it's going to take a lot to really get there at the end of the year.
I follow a lot of different people on crypto Twitter, to stay informed. I think it's a great educational tool. You can't believe all of it, but combined, you learn some stuff. So
yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
The ones that were calling for the huge run up by year end, and telling everybody else who said, wow, that would be a crazy high run up. They were all defending that, saying it happened before, it can happen again. I think I've seen a lot of backtracking on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of backtracking on that front. Yeah.
So I think even they are pushing it back into Q1 of 2022. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, to be honest, I was sort of on board with I think we're going to have a run up by the end of 2021. And I'm backtracking on that. What about you?
No, I was still thinking, I guess I'm going even more conservative, but my estimate was, sometime Q1 of 2022, and now I feel like that just got pushed back to like middle of the year, maybe Q2. I don't really know at this point. I'm kind of digesting it all right now.
I'm going to say the same. I certainly don't know, but I am more of the Q1. I was kind of on board with, I think we're going to follow roughly, the prior 2 cycles. Even though that's not a big, pool of data to go from. We all acknowledge that, but I think I still think there is going to be something similar, a similar run up and then dip. But I think it's going to be earlier. I think it got pushed back because of this, but not that far. So,
okay.
Right now, I would have to say maybe even early Q1. I'm going to say I'm wrong if we're not seeing progress on that by the end of this year, but I think we will.
Yeah.
And so, and again, I'm lumping. I'm saying this in light of there hasn't been a decoupling, so we're really talking about Bitcoin, but then we're talking about alts following.
For sure, and
we've some alts doing even more certainly than Bitcoin, but we're really looking at Bitcoin, and the rest just kind of follow, with some differences here and there. So I'm still on board with that's going to happen. If it starts to happen in December of 2020, then I would say we're going to have that happen in the first quarter, maybe even late January of 2022.
And guys, Brian, I'm sorry. This just gets me deflated. I feel like I've just kind of gone silent. But I get deflated. But hey, I'll tell you one thing. I would love to get proven wrong that this thing pops off earlier, because to be full disclosure, I haven't sold anything. This is not financial advice, but I haven't sold. I've only bought more the past couple months. I have not sold anything.
I told you yesterday. So, I bought, and I was digging through my couch cushions. So that's how much I was buying.
Brian, I was looking at my mountain bike in my driveway. Like, I really don't
need
that.
I don't use it that much.
No, I don't. Like, I drive this old car. It might be time to kind of sell it and go to one car, you know.
But I will. I mean, this happens. Buying the dip. I bought the dip this weekend, and it's gone down since I bought. But that's happened.
Yeah.
That's part of the way it works.
Yeah.
So let's quickly talk about stock to flow. He has said, so Plan B is on a stock to flow model. He said earlier, if Bitcoin doesn't hit 100,000 by the end of this year, the model is invalidated. So, are we going to be now without the stock to flow model? What do you think is going to happen with that?
See, I don't want to. So maybe even before we get into this, Brian, what kind of causes me a bit of aggravation is big names like this kind of making these big, bold statements that, if we kind of start to veer off this, there's just epic panic, man. I mean, including me, like, man, that's such a bold statement to say, if it's not by 100,000, this model is broken, because if it doesn't go that way, man, I'm personally freaking out, but I'm still confident in Bitcoin. But
I had actually printed out the stock to flow predictions, and written them down on dates. This month is supposed to be here, this month's supposed to be, and I posted that like next to my desk. So yeah, I was pretty much into the stock to flow model, but he was so confident that earlier this year.
And that's what I live by, So.
He said, it's invalidated if it's not at 100K, and it certainly doesn't look like it's going to be at 100K. So I don't know.
No.
My guess is he's going to come out with something else. He has the stock to flow cross asset model, but it was even more. It was even higher. So he's going to have to come out with stock to flow, part 2 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Stock to flow deflated. We need to come up with a good name.
Stock to flow, the sequel. What is it? I don't know. Reignited.
Stock to flow, the
return.
Q4 blockage.
All right, something like that. And then we talked about all the technical analysis predictions where they look at charts and patterns and that kind of thing. And there were a lot of them. And I'm not a TA person at all. I don't really, I don't want to say I don't believe in it, but and since I don't believe in it, but I'll also confess ignorance on it to some extent. But, a lot of these guys who were really, laying it all out there, and it just seemed to go totally wrong. I just wonder what's going to happen with them.
Well, I think you and I, Brian, tend to use those more of a aid in our investment strategy,
Absolutely.
Not as a Bible, as some
right.
people
And they would
appear
probably
to have,
tell you that. In their defense,
Yeah.
in TA's defense, they would probably tell you that. We're playing the odds here. We're not saying it's going to do it, even though they kind of say it's going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
A cup and handle means it's going to do this. Oh, unless it doesn't.
Well, yeah, you have these hats, and then if these certain
patterns,
and then if it dips this, well, what I said before, it didn't really matter because it hit
or it
this
didn't
thing,
reach here. If it doesn't reach, of course it didn't do it because it didn't reach here. Okay, well, all right, you didn't tell us that.
They're kind of making up the playbook as they go along. And we're not like bashing them at any point because we follow them. We do keep up with them a lot.
It's good information, and I think at some point maybe we'll even get somebody, on the show here to explain it and talk some more about it. Because I'm not discounting it. I'm more of an on-chain data guy because that's sort of, I don't know, real data, and sometimes it's useful, like we've talked about before. On things we're looking at. We haven't been going back to our top indicators because we're not there.
It's just not even worth looking at.
It's not
so
worth
far
talking
from
about.
a top.
Right, but some of the on-chain data, like when you see, for example, Bitcoin going on to exchanges. That's typically means it's going on there for a reason. We've seen an abnormal amount flow onto exchanges. Usually that's because they plan on selling it.
Yeah, token. Yeah, that's one thing I really love is token inflows. And as you've scolded me in the past before, net token inflows, not just inflow, the total picture, but it's something tangible you can really point to.
Right. There's a lot of Bitcoin going onto exchanges or vice versa.
Yeah.
A lot of Bitcoin going off of exchanges into hard wallets or cold storage. That means, okay, people aren't planning to sell. So it's usually a good signal that way. But anyway, guys, we're just here, same as you, trying to evaluate where we are on this, kind of unexpectedly. I didn't think we'd be here.
No, I did not. Yeah, I did not.
So
I didn't see this coming at all.
all we can tell you, we're not giving financial advice, but we certainly want to be transparent with you. I am absolutely holding. I bought the dip as much as I could, and I'm expecting a recovery. Now I cannot say when. And now it seems very unpredictable, but until I see something would have to be dramatic to change my mind to make me not hold. I'll probably hold no matter what, to be honest. But.
Yeah, and guys, be cautious when you hear anyone say they know the timing of this stuff, because if they get it right, it's right by luck, not by.
You
really cannot.
To me, this movement,
this proves our philosophy.
Weekend
really,
proves
right?
it because the biggest names in crypto didn't see it coming.
Oh yeah,
that's just a fact. And so, if they don't, but that's who you're following, what does that tell you? Nobody really knows, and that's the true fact.
Yeah, and that's not bashing anyone at all. It's just kind of the nature
other
of
than
this
the people
beast
who don't acknowledge that.
Well, yeah, we'll bash them.
Yeah, we'll bash them. Anyways, I don't know where we are on the time. We probably all right, guys. This has been another Brews and Blockchain. We'll be back next time, and we'll talk about some new developments, and we'll work it out together.
Yeah, and guys, check out thecryptomasters.com for all your fun crypto prices and tooling. And hey, if you have an idea of when this cycle is gonna end, or
give us any good and informative or instructive or pertinent comments, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
we'll
comment
talk about
down
it on here
below.
on Brews and Blockchain. Yeah.
Email us at info@thecryptomasters.com. We got it all, guys. Come on.
Drop a comment below. Thanks, everybody.